Good evening, everyone. Oh, we've got two more people waiting to join. All right, I would like to welcome everyone to the Troy Interfaith Thanksgiving event. This year's theme is being grateful in challenging times. You know, it's really easy to go ahead and be grateful and have an attitude of gratitude when the Lions are winning and life is good and the temperature is wonderful outside. It's a little different when there's a raging pandemic, when things are, shall we say, less than stable, when times are challenging. And it's at those moments when we can put on that attitude of gratitude that really sets as a mortar that unifies us all together so that we can move forward as a people. And so with that, it is my pleasure to introduce Chuck Reichter, who is the fire marshal and the assistant fire chief for the city of Troy, who will now deliver his Thanksgiving message.
Thanks, Ed. Appreciate the opportunity to do this for the organization. It's always good to have an opportunity to share some reflections. I think to start on common ground, I think we can all agree that challenges are a task or a situation that test our abilities. We know that challenges in life are real and they're pretty much a given. We face smaller challenges on a daily basis. Some of them are work related. Something as simple as getting up and getting prepared. Something we all are getting used to is working remotely. Whether we like it or not, we have to learn how to do that. And some of us even have to find gainful employment because their business couldn't withstand what's going on right now. Some of us have to make sure we're providing daycare for our children or even elder care for our seniors. There's also larger challenges that impact our community. And as Ed had mentioned, we have the ongoing pandemic. How do we stay safe while we're out in public? How do we stay safe while we're interacting with each other? We are social creatures by nature, and we crave that attention and that being with each other. But challenges can be used to your advantage. Each one is an opportunity for personal growth and self-improvement. Good or bad, a challenge should be viewed as a way to become the best version of yourself. Gratitude is that readiness to show appreciation, and it's a readiness to return kindness. So if we think about gratitude in those terms, we can overcome our challenges first and foremost by accepting that challenge. We work together as a team. We build relationships. It's similar to what the fire department does, especially here in Troy. We provide a service to the community. We all have challenges, and we all have challenges to serve, whether it's to find the time or get involved in the training. But we don't have to serve. The good news is we get to serve. One thing is for certain: we enter this life alone, and we leave it alone. Those are probably the only two things that we do alone. Everything else we have the opportunity to do with somebody else. Our stay here is filled with relationships. Somebody may ask, why is life so full of challenges? Well, challenges and problems are important parts of life. They give us experience. They help us learn. They strengthen us. And they help us become wiser. Problems make us grow and they shape us. I believe that one of the biggest problems our people have is that they hope for a life without problems. But regardless of the result, we should value the experience and the personal growth that come with the challenge. So in closing, I'd ask that everybody just take a few minutes and identify and accept the challenges that face you. Seek out others for assistance. Be prepared to work as a team to come to some solutions. And always be ready to return kindness.
Thank you very much, Chuck.
You're welcome.
At this particular, we are going to now have a musical moment, and we are going to listen to a rendition of I Want to Be Ready, arranged by Patricia Sanders, and it's the Northminster Bells and the director of music, Dr. Brandon Woolrich, Northminster Presbyterian Church. So at this particular time, it is my pleasure to introduce Rabbi Alicia Harris, Rabbi at Congregation Shir Tikva.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you, Ed, for doing this. I'm particularly lucky that Ed is a member of my community. And thank you all for being here. Anytime we get a chance to gather in community, and especially over the theme of gratitude during hard times, feels like a necessary thing for us to be doing right now. And I feel very blessed to be a part of it. I started working at Shir Tikva on July 1st. So I am still, brand new to the community and still have not actually been in person with my people yet. So this is all still new to me, and I'm just so very grateful to be together tonight. What I wanted to talk about is I wanted to do just a tiny bit of teaching. So in Judaism, we have there's this folklore about how we should say 100 blessings every day. And 100 comes from the idea of it comes from some wordplay, because Hebrew letters sometimes are associated with Hebrew numbers, and it becomes the word for 100 sort of works out in a blessing that we say. That's neither here nor there, but the story behind this tradition is as follows. So King David, during the reign of King David, there was a terrible plague, and it took the lives of exactly 100 people each day. And the rabbis at the time perceived that the plague was spiritual and instituted the practice of reciting 100 blessings per day, and the plague immediately stopped. Now, I just want to say that I'm not in any way insinuating that what's going on in our country right now is a spiritual issue. And I'm also not insinuating that we are going to be able to stop it with 100 blessings a day. But what I think we can learn from those rabbis is that even though they were going through something so painful and something so hard that they just could not explain, they still found ways to say 100 blessings a day. And the point here is that they were doing everything they could to make gratitude a part of their daily practice. And living their lives during that time was not particularly easy, right? So, and the rabbis, like, they sort of wrote themselves into history a little bit. So it's probable they weren't around during the King David times, but when they took this teaching and said that the rabbis said that that's what we should do, that was how they were living in Talmudic times, which is about 300 or so in the Common Era. So, and also not an easy time to live through. So I think one of the things that we really get to learn from them is that gratitude has to be a part of our daily practice, whether or not things are going well. And it leads me to another teaching that I really love that is actually, I think, one of the central tenets of Judaism, which is this teaching from Pirkei Avot, which is the ethics of our fathers or the ethics of our ancestors. It's a midrash or a commentary on the Torah. And the question that is asked, who is rich? And the answer is the person who rejoices in their lot. As it is said, you shall enjoy the fruit of your labors, and you shall be happy, and you shall prosper. And right now, all I can do is look to tradition for help learning how to do that, learning how to be happy and learning how to prosper, because this is such a weird and challenging time. It's a hard time. I've been saying to people, it's a hard time to be a human being right now. And so I feel really glad to be able to bring some of that gratitude practice from our tradition into our circle tonight. And as we think about Thanksgiving and how it's going to look different, I encourage you to think about ways that you can find little moments for gratitude. This morning, I was teaching 7th graders, and I was saying to them, what is something that I asked them last week to think about something they were grateful for and bring it this week. And they said, it's really hard to think of something to be grateful for right now. I said, I know, that's why I asked you to keep a list of small things, right? So I have a bed to sleep in, I have a cat. I got to see my family. I got to have breakfast this morning. Those little things add up to something greater. And I'm grateful for that. And I'm grateful for all of you. And I wish you all a happy Thanksgiving. I hope you can find some gratitude in this very challenging time.
Thank you very much, Rabbi.
Thank you. Thanks for inviting me.
And welcome to the Troy area. So with that, our next person to do a presentation will be Caitlin from the Intercultural Association of Michigan. Caitlin.
Thank you. Okay. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me. I'm very glad to be here tonight, and I appreciate most the opportunity because it's helped me to pause and reflect on what I'm thankful for in my own life. Like all of you, our lives have been different this year due to COVID-19 pandemic. Thankfully, we've been spared any major losses, but certainly there have been some anxieties and longing for time with our family and friends. When I think about the challenges we are facing, I'm reminded of a well-known hadith or saying from the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, that goes, "How wonderful the affair of the believer is. Indeed, all of his affairs are good for him. This is for no one but the believer. If something good happens to him, he is grateful to Allah or God, which is good for him. And if something bad happens to him, he has patience, which is good for him." So when we reflect on this meaning of the hadith, it comes to show that everything that comes to us from God ultimately has a purpose. For a person of faith, even hardship, or perhaps even especially hardship, can lead to spiritual blessings and growth in our connection to God, the eternal, the loving. As one Muslim author, A. Halwa, wrote in her book, Secrets of Divine Love, love is not something Allah does, love is something Allah is. For a believer, since God is the all-loving and all-powerful, we strive to have faith that whatever he sends us will ultimately be in our best interest, if not in this life, then in the hereafter. While I admit it's not always easy for me to remember this lesson in a moment of hardship, It is certainly a comforting thought whenever I reflect upon this wisdom. This Thanksgiving, I have many things to be thankful for. As the Quran declares, and were you to count the blessings of God, you could not number them. While we can never list all the things we have to be grateful for, it's certainly a good exercise to try. Indeed, there's an increasing volume of scientific literature that shows the psychological benefits of counting our blessings. I have therefore included a short list of some things that I'm grateful for below, and I invite everyone who's watching to do the same. I'm grateful for my family and our good health. I'm thankful we have a warm, safe place to live and access to healthy food to eat. With the recent political events in this country, while the recent political events in this country have left many on all sides of the political spectrum anxious, as a physician, I've seen several patients struggling with these anxieties firsthand. I am thankful to live in a democratic country that, since its inception, has had people fighting for civil liberties, justice, and a balance of power. I'm also thankful and appreciative for the brave Americans who have been fighting tirelessly over the course of centuries to bring awareness to inequities still present in our society. And I'm hopeful that we as a nation will continue down this long, difficult road of self-reckoning, despite the occasional setbacks. As Dr. Martin Luther King stated, the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends toward justice. Furthermore, I'm thankful when I remember that even though sometimes during this pandemic, when I feel isolated, I'm indeed part of a greater community, and it's a great thing to be part of a community as welcoming as this one. And lastly, I'm thankful that God has given me the awareness to recognize even such a small percentage of the blessings bestowed on me and the opportunity to thank him for these blessings. I'll conclude with this quote from the Sufi mystic Rumi that goes, "Thanksgiving is sweeter than bounty itself. One who cherishes gratitude does not cling to the gift. Thanksgiving is the true meat of Allah's bounty. The bounty is its shell. For Thanksgiving carries you to the heart of the beloved." Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to try and share the screen again and play another video. This particular video is called Akrimandidi, which means, and I'm sure that if someone speaks Japanese, they can correct me. But the English translation of this is "Don't give up."
"うちで休んで窓に青空が見える」「君も君の窓から同じ空を見ているかしら」「大丈夫大丈夫世界は暗そうだけど頑張って頑張って考えすぎないで諦めないで今日もピアノを弾いて下手だけど楽しかったよすっとみんなが笑えば雲の切れ間から太陽が見える時々私は悲しんだ寂しんだでもいつもいいことがあるできる今は辛いけど大丈夫大丈夫笑顔を思い出す大丈夫大丈夫明日太陽は輝く頑張って嬉しいね考えすぎないで諦めないで諦めないで
All right, we will now have a Thanksgiving prayer by Nasi. Nasa?
Hello, Ed. This is Nasi Sankigiri from the Bharatiya Hindu Temple of Troy, Michigan. I'm the chair of the outreach committee. Rather than a prayer, I thought I would offer a couple of thoughts or a rumination from one of our holy books. Hinduism as a religious practice really does not talk about moral aspects of living, of which I would say gratitude is a part. However, there are other religious instructions which are strong foundation of Hinduism, especially two epics called Ramayana and the Mahabharata. The Ramayana literally means the path Rama walked. Rama was this God in human form that walked this earth long ago. And he was called Ramo Vigrahavan Dharmaha. He was the personal embodiment of Dharma. And Dharma is one of the most important aspects of living as a Hindu. One's purpose in life is to uphold Dharma, which is do your duty. Rama was born a prince, crown prince, and then when he was about to be coronated, he was banished for 14 years of forest dwelling by his own father. And as he left his capital city with his loyal wife Sita and loyal younger brother Lakshmana, they were carried by the royal chariot being pulled by 4 horses up to the edges of the city. And there, a boatman called Guha received him and offered to take him across the river onto the other side into the forest. And in receiving Rama, this boatman Guha offered him many gifts, new clothes, some jewelry, and also lots of food. And Rama said, I'm going to the forest. I cannot be living like a prince. So I really cannot accept any of these gifts you are giving me because they are useless to me. However, I will accept the food you are offering. I will eat some of it, and I will share this food with the horses that brought me up to here, because from now on, I will have to walk. This incident from Rama's life epitomizes the topic, the theme we chose for today. What can be more catastrophic for a crown prince? Not only to lose his crown, but to be banished from his kingdom. And overnight, he's become a forest dweller, lost all his luxuries, lost his title to the crown. And he doesn't know what the future holds. He's walking into this forest, yet he expresses his gratitude to the horses that brought him up to the edge of the kingdom. So this theme of food as an offering of gratitude to a dumb animal also brought to, underscored for me a very disturbing news I learned this morning that nationwide, not just here in Michigan, but nationwide, a lot of people, a lot of families are apparently lining up at food pantries for food assistance right now. And this is disturbing even during normal times. We are entering into winter. It's even more so at this time of COVID when people have been losing their livelihoods, so on and so forth. So I personally am going to reach out to our local food pantries and offer my assistance through donation, etc. And I exhort all the lovely members of this gathering also to do the same and reach out in your own communities to offer this food assistance to our brothers and sisters. Hari Om. Thank you very much for this opportunity. God bless you.
Thank you very much. And at this time, Rida, who is a youth member of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, will be presenting the concept of giving thanks in Islam.
Hello everyone, it's good to be here. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of Allah, the Gracious, the Merciful. I extend to you all the Islamic greeting, Assalamu alaikum, peace be on you. Thanksgiving is one of my favorite American holidays because it allows us as Muslims to join in the celebration wholeheartedly, since the principle of thankfulness is such a big part of our faith and daily practice. Our guiding book, the Holy Quran, teaches us in each of its chapters that God is Ar-Rahman, the Gracious, and Ar-Rahim, the Merciful. By virtue of being Ar-Rahim, God rewards people for their efforts, and he rewards repeatedly. How we strive during times of adversity often raises us to bigger and better rewards, not only materially, but also spiritually. It all depends on how we choose to react. By virtue of being Ar-Rahim, God bestows blessings on all creation unconditionally. He has created this world and all of its bounties for all, whether they acknowledge his existence or not. Often it takes periods of adversity to realize the immense blessings we have been enjoying in our ordinary days without giving them a second thought. The natural reaction to this grace and mercy shown by God cannot be anything but gratitude. God likes the quality of gratitude so much that he has described one of his personal attributes listed in the Holy Quran as ash-shakur, meaning the most appreciative. The Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, once stated that, on the day of judgment, Allah will say to some people that, I was hungry and you did not feed me. I was thirsty and you did not give me water. I was sick and you did not meet or comfort me. At this, those being addressed will plead ignorance and question, how could God have ever been afflicted with hunger and thirst and sickness? God Almighty will respond that such and such persons dear to him were suffering, but this group of people denied them love and compassion. Similarly to another community, God Almighty will say, well done, you showed love and compassion to me. When I was hungry, you fed me, and when I was thirsty, you quenched my thirst. The members of that community will ask surprised, our Lord, when did we serve you in this way? God will respond that when they showed love and compassion to such and such people in need, they were actually manifesting their love for God. As a believer, it's easy to see that adversity, where on the one hand is an opportunity to shine in the sight of God by one's perseverance, it is on the other hand an opportunity to gain nearness of God by helping others if one has the good fortune to do so. God says in the Holy Quran, chapter 3, verse 134 and 35, and 135, and vie with one another in asking for forgiveness from your Lord, and for a paradise whose price is the heavens and the earth, prepared for the God-fearing, those who spend in prosperity and adversity, and those who suppress anger and pardon people. I hope and pray that we continue to accelerate the cycle of gratitude, especially during these difficult times. Also, early on, I think I mixed up the translation of Ar-Rahman and Ar-Rahim. Ar-Rahim means the gracious. No, Ar-Rahim means merciful and Ar-Rahman means gracious. Sorry about that. But thank you so much.
Thank you very much for those inspiring words. Okay, at this time, hopefully, we will have another musical video. I do want to point out the fact that all these videos will be posted on our YouTube channel. Okay, but with that said, I will go ahead and share my screen. You know, the city of Troy is a very diverse community. And how beautiful it is that here, Jews, Muslims, Christians, Hindus have united under this canopy of Thanksgiving. We are such a diverse community, and this is truly something that we should be thankful for. And we have our wonderful leaders, our elected leaders in this community. And at this time, it is my honor to introduce our mayor, the Honorable Ethan Baker, the mayor of Troy.
Good evening, everybody. What a beautiful event always. And to have it virtual is we're used to it at this point in the year, but it's almost as wonderful to see everybody's faces right here in front of my screen and to be able to share in this beautiful event in this setting as opposed to in-person even. So I also just want to reference, we talk about the leaders here in Troy. I do notice that council members Ann Erickson Galt, Rebecca Chamberlain Krianga, and I also think Teresa Brooks are on and participating here this evening. I want to make sure they get the recognition they deserve for being a wonderful part of our community. We certainly are enjoying, they're the three newest council members, and it's wonderful to have them here joining and being part of this because they've certainly added a lot to our city this year as we've faced many, many challenges and some that none of us expected. So when we talk about gratitude in the times of challenge, I'll start by first saying I have so much gratitude and so much thankfulness and appreciation for my fellow council members who work with me day after day on a part-time basis to do what we can to make Troy the best city in the state and to provide for our residents and businesses all that they need, especially in this times of challenge. And Ed had just spoken about how beautifully diverse our community is, and that's an understatement. I've seen firsthand this year the beauty of our community and the diversity, seeing various religious groups, ethnic groups, diversity of opinion and thought, providing and caring for each other in times of need, whether that's making masks for other people in the community early on when supplies were short, whether it's providing food to people who are experiencing food insecurity. We're a caring and giving community, and our diversity shines in that process, and that when we are able to give to each other regardless of what God we pray to or what thoughts we have about politics or anything else in the city. So I'm so gracious to have and to be able to represent a city that's as beautifully diverse as ours is and as kind and caring as ours is. We approach Thanksgiving this week in a manner that none of us probably ever anticipated. Painful realities of not being able to get together in large groups with our families, whether that's traveling or whether that's having everybody over to your house. Some of us obviously are still going to do it. We ask that you be safe. But many of us are realizing we're going to be at home with just our immediate nuclear families, or maybe just alone if we live by ourselves or with just a spouse. And that's going to be different for all of us. But we're doing it for the good of our community and for safety and healthfulness because we care. And again, I know that the city of Troy is a community that I've watched over this past 9 months during COVID, really do what's right to stay healthy. We don't have the issues in our city as much as other places do when it comes to people refusing to wear masks, whether it comes to people refusing to follow orders that come from the health department or even the governor. We're a city of rule followers, and we do it because we're good, caring people. So I'm so gracious for that. I can't go without saying and taking a moment to acknowledge and express gratitude for our healthcare heroes in this wonderful city of ours. we have, and I see clapping. Yes, absolutely. I think we're so fortunate to have, obviously we have Beaumont at the hospital here, but we have medical facilities throughout the city. And we have so many residents who are doctors and nurses and healthcare practitioners who have gone above and beyond over these past 9 months to risk their lives to help keep us safe. And I will forever be thankful for them. And I hope all of you will be too. And that also goes for our first and frontline responders, our amazing police department, which we've seen do amazing things this year, our mostly volunteer fire department, who take chances and go out there to make us safe. And they do it on a volunteer basis, which I think is phenomenal. And the frontline responders and other aspects too. We talk about our grocery store workers, our essential workers who have gone in every day of this pandemic to put themselves at risk to make sure we have the supplies and the products and the services we need. So on this Thanksgiving, I'm so thankful for all that they have done for our community and for each and every one of you who's played a role in that as well. Gratitude means something different to everybody. And I think, of course, about being appreciative, and that's part of the word gratitude. And I want everybody to really be appreciative and thankful for what they have in this life and what they have in this world. A couple days ago, we received a call that my wife's grandfather, who's 95 years old, suddenly took a dramatic turn in his health and probably isn't going to make it much more than a couple of days at this point. And we made the decision to safely travel to where he is in Cleveland just to be able to say goodbye. And we did that. And it made me really think in all that drive time about how much we take for granted the little things we have in life, whether that's our own health, the fact that we can use our bodies and our minds in a way that you lose as you get older and get closer to passing away. So I ask that you continue to be appreciative of the life you have and the ability you have to be with friends and family, whether that's virtually or in person, and to appreciate every minute we have with the people we love in this world. Because I think that at some point, when that's at risk of being taken away, you really realize and value how much you should appreciate it and how valuable it's been in your life. I'm thankful for our great city, for our wonderful residents and businesses. I know we've gone through many challenges this year so far, and we'll continue to go through these challenges as we work through this pandemic and economic recovery and the ability to get our city back to what it was and what it will always be, which is a great, strong, beautifully diverse city. I'm thankful to have the opportunity to be with you here tonight. I will hope you all have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Be safe, be with those you love, whether that's in person or virtually, and know that you have a city who cares very much about you, and we're going to do everything we can for your best interest. And God bless you all, and God bless the city of Troy. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your remarks, Mayor. So for all the people who've attended, I would like to thank you for your participation and your attendance. For the presenters, thank you very much. There are some people that worked behind the scenes to corral all the presenters together. My job is easy. All I've got to do is click on the screen. You guys do all the work behind the scenes. I thank you very much to the committee that worked on making this Thanksgiving program and all the presenters. So on behalf of the Troy Area Interfaith Group, a very happy Thanksgiving, and please be careful. Bye.